Good morning, gentlemen. Today we are going to replace the battery on the 400. It is 7:30 in the morning. I should be sleeping because I just got off work, but priorities come first, and that is getting this bike back on the road. And the only thing stopping it right now, other than putting the new taillight on, which is going to be here today, and the license plate bracket, is this battery. So, Yuasa. This is the Yuasa battery that's going in. Part number YTX20HL-BS. Sounds about right. So let's get the package opened, see what's inside, go over a couple of tips that I've learned, and get it installed. Let's crack this box open and see what's inside. Should be everything we need. There's our electrolyte packs, our hardware, instructions, we don't need those, cardboard, that's what we need. Okay, so this is not a typical battery that you buy just off the shelf and plug it in and you're good to go. This one has a little bit of maintenance, or not necessarily maintenance, but there is some setup that comes along with this. First thing you need to do is to pull this off the top. So once the aluminum foil is removed, it's going to reveal little spots up here at the top. Next, open up your electrolyte package. Once your package is open, pull your fluid out. That's what that's going to look like. What's important to do here is you want to make sure that this is going to be on a level surface. Remove these caps off the top, set it off to the side because we're going to need that to seal this once we're done adding the fluid. Line them up with these spots, and you're just going to push them down. That pops the seal on them. Let's get a closer look. You can see that they're self-filling. If for whatever reason one stops or something like that, it is appropriate to tap on the top to keep it going. Once the fluid is completely drained out of the electrolyte pack, you can go ahead and remove it. Then the caps that you set off to the side, you'll reapply. Don't need any tools for this. Just use your hands. And they'll push in place. Just use a little bit of force here. It specifically says not to use any tools for this. The stand period is basically allowing the electrolyte fluid to completely set up in the battery. I'm no battery expert, but I do understand that the way this works is it needs to sit for that amount of time. We are back. After our standing point, it's been, well, a little over an hour now, not quite 2 hours, but I've run out of time and I've got to go ahead and get charged on there. So it says anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, and we're just over an hour. This particular battery does call for 1.8 to 2 amps for 5 to 10 hours. So what you're going to need is a battery charger that has selectable charging amps. We'll put our clamps on. Negative and the positive. And we should be able to select 2 amps. So the charger should be able to run for, well, it's going to go ahead and charge because we've selected it at 2. It's going to charge on its own. And we're going to let it run for 5 to 10 hours. Once it's fully charged, I'll show you a little trick over here before we mount it up into the bike. We're back again after our charging time. I let it go a little over 10 hours, but it's fine because this is a smart charger, and once it's completely charged, it just keeps it topped off. So now that it's done, we can disconnect our battery. This is where some tips come into play. Because of the battery location on the Super X, it's really tight. There's a lot of metal in there, and you just don't want your terminals and stuff to make contact with those metal parts. So a good rule of thumb is to use some heat shrink wrap. First, we'll use our hardware. We're going to use the smaller hardware that comes with the kit. Slide those in there, and then we'll slide our shrink wrap over the top. These can be reused on each battery you get. Just take a lighter and tighten up that heat shrink. And that way it tightens up real good. And then as well, we'll use the smaller screws that come with the kit. The bigger ones and the longer screws, we won't be using any of that. Next thing, we just have to pull the cover off, pull the old battery out, then we can put the new one in. You'll want a 3/16 Allen wrench. I have a T-handle here. Makes it much easier to use, or makes the job much easier to do. Take your strap off. Set it off to the side. Next, this cover will come off. Set it off to the side. I've already got the old screws off, but right up here where the channel is underneath the seat, you'll have to remove the seat to get to it. You'll unscrew the power side, and then off on this side you can pull the battery out a bit. It's a tight fit. The cables aren't very long, but you can get to the top one up here as well and unscrew those. Disconnect your ground and your power. And pull your old battery out. Next thing we got to do is slide our new battery in. I'd like to get one side started. Make sure your cables are pushed towards the inside. It's really important to get these as tight as possible without obviously causing damage. What I'm doing is sticking my fingers down in here to hold the wires in place while I tighten up. That way they don't walk on me. Okay. Now that your terminals are tight, another good rule of thumb is to take a piece of electrical tape and stick it over the top of the power wire. That just keeps things from making contact. There is a little tab on the inside on the left hand side close to where the screw hole is. Make sure that's lined up and in place. All right, once your strap is on there, put your screw in, grab your tool, and thread your strap in. There she goes. Next, you can check for power. As you hear, I turn the key over, turn the ignition, fuel pump, everything's reading good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up a battery tender, and she'll be done. And that's all you have to do when you change a battery. Pretty simple on there. Like I said, you just want to make sure that it's not touching any metal, because there's a lot of metal in there. Not a terribly hard job. Easier than some other applications, but maybe a little bit harder than others. It's just something you want to take your time on and get done, and then obviously maintaining the life of the battery by keeping the trickle charger on it, keeping the battery life up, is going to extend the life of the battery. And that's what we're going to do next. But everybody knows how to hook up a trickle charger. You just put it into your battery tender connection, and that's it. So I appreciate you tuning in and following me along on this one. Just a quick little video with some tips and some ideas.